I was helping this one lady right after she got out. And when she got out of jail, she literally had no place to go. She did not have a roof over her head. And she told me she was getting out and that she needed to find a place to live. And I thought, I don't know where to begin. So I went to Joshua House. That's the organization that I represent when I go in there on Monday nights. And I told them the situation, and they agreed to put her up in an extended stay hotel for 1 week while I looked for other options. And I thought, well, that bought me a week. I still have no idea what I'm going to do. But for the time being, she had a place to go. So I took her to this extended stay hotel in Indianapolis, and I said, well, we've got 7 days, and I just committed to praying that God would present an answer. And I asked people in the church if they knew of anybody, and God revealed a family at White River who themselves are living missionally in a way that just astounds me, and they agreed to let her come and live with them in their home. Now, that was an answer to prayer, but there were 2 nights between when her extended stay was covered and when they would be ready to let her move in. So there were 2 nights that were not accounted for. $150 at this hotel is what it would have taken to extend that stay. And I remember thinking, okay, $150. God just wants me to take care of that. So I called my husband up and I told him the good news, and then I said, and all we have to do is cover these 2 nights, and then we can move her into this home and everything's taken care of. And while he's very supportive of my ministry, I remember him saying, I'm just not okay with that. And I said, well, you know what? We'll talk about it later. And what I meant by that was, when I get home, I'll change your mind. I'll convince you. And all day I prayed about it, and I just said, God, you would not bring us that far to get hung up over 2 nights. So God, you just have to help me convince my husband that this is what we're supposed to do. So I went home, I had prepared my argument for him, and on the table was a card from a friend of mine in Texas. She was a college and high school friend and the maid of honor at our wedding. And a year before that, I had told her a little bit about this ministry, and she thought it was just a really neat thing. And I opened it up, and there was a card and a check for $150. And in the memo, it just said, for God's purpose. And there was a note just said, I want you to use this in your jail ministry, however you might need it. And I just broke down. I was so excited, and I was trying to talk. I was showing my husband, and I showed it to him. $150, the exact amount we needed on the exact day we needed it. And I called my friend up, and I said, you just have no idea how perfect this is. And I told her what we were going to use it for, and she said, well, I walked around for several days with that number on my heart, and I just kept thinking, what can be done with $150? That's such, she said, I didn't think I was going to even make a difference. And then she said, one day I was on my way to work, and God just said, go put it in the mail right now. And that's what she did. And looking back, I realized, sure, we could have covered that $150, and I would have patted myself on the back and felt really good about it. But in this way, God was glorified in an incredible way, and he got to involve other people in that blessing, and I get to tell people about that. I got to tell this girl, here's what God did for you. Here's how much he loves you. He brought a check from Texas, sure as if he had written it himself, and covered those 2 nights. And I took a picture of that check, and anytime I start to doubt, I just look at that for God's purpose. If he has a purpose, he'll also make a way to accomplish it.